New York City, the Big Apple, the concrete jungle, the home of my favorite team, the New York Giants, the home of hip hop, and home to some of the craziest drivers we've seen. ISO, boom. If you're new here, welcome. If you're not new here, welcome back. Either way, you're much appreciated. As you see by the title and the thumbnail, cutting up, the deadly race for clout with no finish line. In this video, I want to go over how cutting up became one of the biggest trends in the car scene and one of the deadliest. Let's get started. So cutting up, swimming, squeezing, driving like an asshole, whatever you want to call it. It goes by many names. And honestly, to me, those names mean different things. It's basically just an act of driving through traffic. Some will say as smoothly as you can, and other people just do it as fast as you can. And that's what I'm talking about, how the different names mean different things.
What's like swimming? A swim? Is it called swimming? Swim?
Well, there's swimming and there's squeezing. Our boys 981 Float and them, they do the swimming, which is more methodical, like calm, moving in traffic without really risking your car and crashing out. And then there's us, which is like the squeezing, where you're supposed to risk your car. You're supposed to not really care about your car. You're supposed to just, the most important thing is getting through cuts and hitting white lines, squeezing, which is, getting in between two cars. And yeah, basically squeezing is more aggressive, crashing out, and swimming is once again more poetic, fluid, and smooth.
So to understand how it became one of the biggest trends in the car scene, we gotta understand where it all started. So the action of it, of cutting up and driving in that way, in that fashion, isn't anything necessarily new. The popularity of it is what skyrocketed in the last few years, and that's what we're gonna go over. So to understand where it all started, we're gonna go back to lockdown times, around 2020 to 2021. You know how it was, we were locked up, we couldn't go to parks, we couldn't do sports outside. So what were a lot of people doing? They were driving, because that's what you could do. The roads were still open, you're allowed to be in your car. So that's what people were doing. So who it really started off with, in my opinion, is Where's 981. So the reason why he drives the way he does, from what he explained in an interview he did a few years ago, is basically no one follows the highway rules. And he's not wrong. People camping in the left lane, just driving too slow in general, hogging lanes. So the way he got past this was by swimming through them. His argument was, no one else follows the highway rules, so why will he? I'm not gonna lie, he has a point, to an extent. So him driving the way he does, eventually he started recording it and uploading it on YouTube. Due to just the nature of it, and how entertaining it was, it caught a lot of traction. So what started off as someone going out for drives for fun turned into one of the craziest trends. And this is actually what birthed one of the other craziest drivers New York has ever seen. And the reason why I mentioned New York in the intro is because it's the biggest center of it, in my opinion. Huge city, huge highways, densely populated. There's gonna be a lot of people that want to try. So another reason why New York is such a big center of it is because the design of the city, and how unlike somewhere down south where there's a lot of long straight roads, a lot of twists and turns and not straight roads basically. So it's a lot easier to get away from the cops in somewhere like New York than somewhere like Arkansas. And the reason being is because a lot of these drivers are driving the best engineering, German engineering. So a lot of the times these big heavy American cop cars are not able to keep up. No American cop car is going to handle nearly as well as a German performance car.
What is your strategy in getting away from police?
Hopping on the highway. These cops, they're not really built for that. It's a lot of real rookie cops now. A bunch of rookie cops, and these guys do not know how to drive on the highway.
Again, like I said, a lot of people hate on it. Love it or hate it, some of the people that are doing it, you got to admit, there's some skilled drivers. Yes, there is a ton of idiots and bad drivers, but you can't discredit all of them, Some of them are skilled drivers. So they know that the cops most likely are never going to catch up unless they get pinned or screwed like hella. But again, for the most part, the cops, they know the cops aren't catching them, and they know that they're gapping them. So that's why they do what they do. Also, in New York City, there isn't any severe punishments for doing something like this. New York takes violent crimes very seriously, but for crimes like this, it's kind of a slap on the wrist punishment. You can get locked up and then get released the same day kind of thing. So as a young man, these thrill-seeking activities, adrenaline-rushing activities, they're going to catch interest, and they're going to get a lot of people I'm not going to say like me, but a lot of young men and young teens who want to attempt it themselves. And it's also going to attract a lot of other New Yorkers to do the same. You're seeing people like this driving your city and it's going to go viral. You're going to try it too and try and go viral. That's the thing. Clout is a crazy drug, and people will do anything for clout these days. So this caught the attention of a lot of car guys and just people who like driving, but then also other people who just want to chase a thrill and may not be so good at driving. Because I'm not gonna lie, say what you want, a lot of people hate on it, and I'm not gonna lie, I don't say I hate on it, but I see where the hate comes from, because where it started to where it is now, it's completely different. What started with people swimming through traffic turned into people going for the craziest cuts, going as fast as they can, trying to get the craziest clips they can to try and go viral themselves. As I said earlier, this birthed one of the New York's craziest drivers, Squeeze Benz. So the reason why he even started doing what he does is because, well, apparently he's always been driving like this. Like I said earlier, people have been doing it before it became a trend.
I've been doing this since like real shit since I was 9. I used to take my dad's car out and I used to just bug out. I've been doing this for so long now that I feel like I did as a professional at it. Like, you know, niggas know like that's how I drive. There's been incidents where I've gone out with people and they try keeping up with me and they.
But the reason why he started doing it and started uploading it is because one of his friends hollered at him and basically said, like, bro, like, start uploading what you're doing. It's getting a lot of views.
I got my first Benz and I always did like little driving videos and I never really took it to nothing. And then my boy started saying like, you know, mad people are blowing up off this. And I was just like, you know, that's just how it started.
Trying to go viral with it. And that's actually how he met, as a lot of people know, the best rapper in New York City, M-Box. Woo!
Squeeze, I met Squeeze a couple years ago. I seen a video of him driving the Benz crazy and shit, and I was immediately fascinated. I'd never seen anybody drive that retarded. And so I hit him up. I'm like, yo, bro, you need a rear GoPro. Can I give you one? I was on some fan shit. I was like fake glazing. Linked up with him. After that, we became boys.
So M-Box hit bro up, and basically, it's been up ever since. I'm not gonna lie. I'll play a clip right now.
How did I start cutting up? When I got my first fast car. When I got the Toyota Corolla, I was like, oh, this is awesome. Because I really did not, I'm not really a car guy. Like, I don't really know, like, I don't know how to fix cars and shit. I just appreciate cars. I know about them, but I don't know how to fix them or shit like that. It started when I got my BMW. I thought it was dope. I thought it was really cool. I got my red eye, my Hellcat. You know, it was always kind of a business move type shit. You know, it was always like I had realized that the community was monetizable and shit, and there was actually a niche, because like having the car community was the perfect way for me to build my fan base and start my fan base type shit.
So that's what I'm saying. Bro says he's not a car guy, like he likes cars and stuff like that. But the reason why he's in this niche, because he knows it's monetizable and there's a big audience for it. He's able to build whatever he needs to from the attention that he gets from what they're doing. So being a young guy with a German car myself, I'm not gonna sit here and act like I never did this stuff. Of course, there's a limit. I like to say I was a swimmer. You know, I still am. I've been out the game a little bit, but I'm still valid behind the wheel. So don't play with me, bro. Now, I recently got a no hezzy set up, bro. You don't want to see me on that. I'm too nice. But yeah, for me, I never drove too crazy because I know my limits. But a lot of people don't know their limits and also just crave attention online from strangers and other men. Because that's who's watching these videos for the most part. So with people like Squeeze Benz and Where's 991 and, well, eventually to come the whole swim team and Squeeze team, these are the two main groups, I'd say, especially in New York. This stuff, like I said earlier, gets a lot of attention and people love attention. So it's going to cause people to try and recreate what they've seen online, IRL, and it's people who don't know their limits and are bad drivers. They just be wilding out on the roads, like doing the most, doing crazy stuff, endangering others for real. So the more people realize how much attention and views this stuff gets, the more and more people try and, like I said, recreate it. And I'm from Canada, and a lot of this stuff started in the US. I'm seeing, like, for example, Montreal white lines or Edmonton white lines, like different cities in Canada posting people of the city doing this too. And I've seen some from my city. I'll try and find the clip. I looked for it a long time ago and I think they deleted it. Oh my god. Oh. A matte black E63 W213 just drove by. That thing was clean. But there's a video of a guy in my city driving one highway entrance from my old house. Bro, he was in a 2.0 Jenny. He was wilding out. His car deadass did a 360 because he spun out.
روح جانا راح يسكر بس ادعس لف زويق روح كمل زويق كفو مين قدك كل على الفيديو مالك مين قدك.
And then he just kept driving. I'm like, what? Like, some people actually do not have the wheel. I'm not those people though. I got wheel. But again, I know my limits. But like I said, people do anything for clouts. So they push their limits or just don't know what they are, trying to do what they can to go viral. Like, is your life that important where you need that much attention from men online? That's kind of AO for me. But because again, I'm not gonna lie, I believe there is a safe way to do this because there's a limit. But once you go past that limit, you're done. I'm not gonna lie, a lot of old heads be acting like the second you hit like 100, you're gonna die. If you're driving a sports car, they're meant to go fast. So if you got that wheel, I'm not gonna lie, that's what I'm saying. Like, you can do this safely in my opinion. But again, there's a limit. But as I was saying earlier, how it started off with just individuals doing this and it grew to teams, which those teams turned what they do into brands. It kind of turned into people just going out for drives for fun, into people trying to get crazy clips, trying to do the most, trying to get close calls to go viral, to promote their brand. And honestly, in my opinion, when this whole brand stuff and people trying to monetize it really got into play, that's when a lot of greed came in. Because that's when all the crazy squeezing came in, all the people trying to go for white lines and the tightest cuts they can, because people are trying to go viral to get attention for their brands. So again, the more traction and more viewers it attracted, the more people wanted to try, which caused more and more people to crash doing this. You have people taking the most crazy cuts, most useless cuts, just to get like a few cars ahead for the video.
Live your life and live it lavish, savage, under pressure. Man, this ain't don't come with chances, under pressure. Live your life and live it lavish, savage, under pressure.
And I'm not gonna lie, some people crash, they take their L's, they face it, they'll, they'll post their crash. That's one thing I don't say respect about the Squeeze team, because they post their crashes, they post their mess ups.
Oh my god.
I always go to sleep late.
But that's also because they know the mess ups go viral too. Because again, it's a brand at the end of the day. They want attention, they want views. So posting their crashes will do that, which is so crazy these days. But there's other drivers who will crash and they'll try to do everything they can to hide the fact that they crash, because it is a bad look for you. There's some drivers, they'll act like they have a clean record, they never crash, they do what they do, no max, but they have. And I'm not gonna name names because some people have exposed others for crashing, and then the people who crashed get on their ass for exposing them for crashing. There was one guy, again, I'm not naming names, where he was exposing a lot of crashes. A lot of people that crashed started hating on him and just started talking crazy about him. And they're the one in the wrong in the first place. So that kind of brings us to where we are today. Going back to the Squeeze team, I've seen Squeeze Team India, Squeeze Team Canada. The Squeeze Team Canada was bad. They had a profile, they had one video, they deleted it. It was some of the worst driving I've ever seen. Their highlights was them taking the shoulder, like them almost crashing, like bad driving. And they posted it like there was something nice. All the comments were just hating because it was some booty ass driving. It's just idiots behind the wheel doing way too much, trying to get clips, attention from men. So I've seen Squeeze team of a bunch of countries. Like nowadays, it's just people trying to go for clout cuts, people trying to do the most, and just anyone who isn't smart gets behind the wheel and tries to do it. What came from people just going for drives and getting clips by accident turned to people going for drives trying to get clips to get views. That's why I named the title The Deadly Race for Clout with No Finish Line. Is putting your life on the line really worth some views or someone else's life? I know I said earlier in the video, I'm not the biggest hater of this, but when you're doing too much, that's when it's an issue. And actually endangering other people's lives. Because like I said, I'm not gonna lie, I believe there's a somewhat safe way or safer way you can do something like this. So in conclusion, it has just gone way too far. Too many bad drivers are trying to do it. Young people are trying to recreate it. And it just became way too crazy. But that's the thing. People are always going to try and push the limit, push the limit, push the limit. The limit can only go for so far. It's called a limit for a reason. But yeah, that's sort of a brief history lesson on cutting up, why it's so big, how it became so big, some of the biggest crews of it, and why so many people try and do it. So if you enjoyed the video, drop a like, drop a comment about anything I can improve on, anything you want to hear about. And yeah, subscribe if you're new. Have a good day.